Okay. Good day and welcome to yet another special edition of this special podcast, Offside Musings. I'd like to welcome you. My name is, by the way, Okey, Ndibe, and I'd like to welcome you on behalf of my co-host, Emeka Onyeagwa, who will be joining me in a second. In this special edition, we would like to talk about a recent development in Nigeria, which we had expected would generate a lot more public conversation, a lot more debate, in fact, a lot more, shall we say, outrage. Unfortunately, we haven't seen the kind of conversation that we expected should come from this development. And we're speaking specifically about the release of the Auditor-General's report looking at the expenditure of public funds in Nigeria. I'd like to just x-ray or to highlight two quick findings of this latest report by the Auditor General's office in Nigeria. One is that the report could not account, or the report said that federal ministries and as well as agencies in Nigeria could not account for the expenditure of 324 billion naira. Now, that's quite close to $1 billion. That's what we're talking about. In a country where 70% of the population lives in not just poverty, but something approaching abject poverty, this is not the kind of reaction we expected to see when there is this level of abuse or misuse of public funds. So that's one. The other area that we would like to highlight is that the same Auditor General's report found that federal lawmakers, legislators in Nigeria at the federal level could not provide vouchers and invoices for 5.2 billion naira that they had spent. Now, why is this important? The National Assembly is the agency that should scrutinize and hold the executive accountable when there is a shortfall or when there is misuse of public funds. When the same legislators are involved in hanky-panky, in the spending of public funds that are not accounted for, then the country is in trouble. Of course, we know that this is not a new development. If anything, this is something that is rather perennial. This is something that has been going on for decades, where year after year, the Auditor General issues a report finding that funds have gone missing. And it's as if Nigerians yawn and move on. Well, we suggest, and that's part of the mission of this podcast, we suggest that we cannot be part of this collective amnesia about corruption and its deep consequences, its deep implications for the country's wretched development, for the country's continued inability to attain anything close to its promise. So we want to keep these issues on the front burner. We want to present that information to Nigerians and to invite different sectors of civil and civic society in Nigeria to engage at all kinds of levels, through political pressure, through litigation and so on, to compel the government to identify every official who is involved in the basically in the embezzlement at this point, we can say, in the embezzlement of public funds, to hold them to account, to have them return the resources that they have stolen from the country, and indeed to jail them. We know that Nigeria doesn't have a good history of prosecution of corruption. Some people will think that because people like Ibori, Lucky Benedio, Joshua Darie, Cecilia Ibru, just a handful really, Ojus Okalo, a handful of political figures as well as people in the private sector have in the past been convicted and jailed for corruption, that's a record to be happy with. Our argument is that this is not nearly enough, that given the depth of corruption in Nigeria, we should have a more robust prosecution of corruption. And so, again, I'd like to welcome you to this week's conversation with my co-host, Emeka Onyeagwa, who will be joining me now. Please stay tuned.